So you got an invitation to a retirement planning seminar at a fancy steak restaurant, but you're still holding on to the invitation, wondering whether or not you should RSVP. Well, in this video, I'm going to pull the curtain back and tell you exactly what happens once you attend that seminar and why you might want to think twice before you do RSVP. This is Popsy Guy with real retirement advice. And in this video, I'm going to use my 3+ decades experience and having done dozens and dozens of these free retirement planning workshops. I'm going to pull the curtain back for you and tell you exactly what happens once you RSVP. But first, let me say congratulations. I already know everything about you. If you got one of my invitations, that means I know how much money you have, I know where you live, I know your phone number, and I know your email address. You can thank big data for that, and it's not hard to get. All you had to do when you RSVP'd was tell us how many people are going to be at the workshop. That's it. So now you're going into that workshop feeling like, well, they don't know anything about me. I didn't give any information. So I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to find out what the real secret is. And I'm going to get a nice free steak dinner at a restaurant I've been dying to try. Now, see, that's where you're wrong. I already have the upper hand. I know more about you than you do about me. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So picture this. You walk in. There are tables, people probably already sitting at the tables. Keep in mind, I've choreographed everything before you even walk through the door. I've talked to the wait staff about what time I want the meal served. I've talked to the AV equipment people to make sure everything's set up correctly. I just want you to come in, pick a seat, get to know the people that you're sitting with, and by design, they're going to be very much like you. They're going to be roughly your same age. They're going to have been retired or planning retirement. They're going to have roughly the same life you have right now. And as I said, that's by design. I want you to feel comfortable meeting the people around you because you'll all have the same life situations, and that makes you feel comfortable. So I want you to enjoy a nice meal because basically I'm fattening you up. So once I see that the plates are being cleared and coffee is being served, that's my cue to get up and do my show. And my show is exactly that. The presentation is going to be very generic. It's going to touch on topics that I know you're concerned about, like what's going to happen to Social Security. If I haven't filed yet, should I file now? What's the difference between an IRA and a 401k? And can I roll my IRA into a 401k or a 401k into an IRA? I've heard different things. Can you answer these things for me? I'll also talk generically about stocks and bonds. I'll let you know just enough to know I know what I'm talking about. And I actually did. I was a certified financial planner, a chartered financial consultant. I was a registered investment advisor. I had a lot to say, but that's not why we're together this day. This day is for me to impress you enough so that you need answers to your questions. So this is what happens. So we're going through the information, and invariably somebody's going to raise their hand and ask a question about their specific situation. And I'll say, well, this is for general advice, it's general knowledge, it's not specific to your situation. And I'd use a cute little story like, well, you know how the doctors get on cable news and they try to diagnose a patient without ever having met them? You can't do that. I can't do that either. I can't diagnose your situation unless I know specifically what's going on in your world. And that's the whole idea behind this presentation, is to get you to come into my office for a free, and I don't call it free, I used to say, come to my office at my expense, we'll sit together for an hour and you can share with me what's going on in your world and I can give you some of my thoughts on where you're headed in your retirement planning. How does the advisor actually get you to come to their office for this free consultation? Well, there's a number of ways. The most popular way is that you'll be asked to fill out a seminar evaluation form. Your name, address, phone number, email, all the things that I already have, but I want you to tell me. And then you'll be asked to evaluate the content of the seminar, the presenter, did it meet your needs? And oh, by the way, at the bottom, there'll be a section that says, if you'd like to meet with Dave for a free 1-hour consultation, then here are the dates that are available. Pick the one that works for you. And then I usually would have an assistant at the back of the room at a table collecting the forms and hoping to make appointments with you right then and there. So you might ask, well, I don't want to fill that thing out. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to give you a little incentive. And that incentive usually is a $100 gift certificate to the restaurant that you're at. It might have to be $150 nowadays with inflation, but that's the hook. And what ends up happening is I ask you to pass all of those evaluations to my assistant, and then my assistant will put them into a basket and then magically fish around and pull one out. And the person that is pulled out, that form, they win the $150 gift certificate. But you have to be present to win. And by the way, remember when I said I know everything I need to know about you? You really don't know anything about me. Well, let's say that you decide you do want to take me up on an offer for a free 1-hour consultation in my office. What I'm highly recommending that you do is that you download my free Advisor Truth Kit. You can get that on the link in the description of my video. Bring that with you and ask those questions. Now you know, once you RSVP and attend one of these retirement planning seminars, you haven't actually attended an educational seminar, you've entered yourself into a sales process. And as long as you know that going in, you can make the right decision for you. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about who actually does pay for these retirement planning seminars at these nice fancy steak restaurants, and how does the advisor get paid? So stay tuned for that. And this is Popsy Guy with real retirement advice saying we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.